Let's play Warhammer Fantasy Tournament. Here's my first game out of 4 of this one-day tournament I attended over Christmas, called Peril of the Pole. I was very excited. This is my first tournament, and the guys at the club were very supportive. We shared a car, and we got the 1 hour and a half drive to get there, which was okay, I guess, compared to the guys in the States who have to fly over. Yeah, you'll see, quite interesting. The scenarios were great, they're very fluffy. It's not a highly competitive tournament. You will see it's all theme-based around Christmas. And so it's battle number 1, scenario entitled Regroup, where basically our Lord's presents were stolen by some nasty Santa Warhammer elf. And we were sent with a small detachment of 1600 points to the pole and try to recover the presents. Scenario follows pretty much the rules as in the BRB battle engagement, where we roll for each unit to see if they are in reserve. We do not roll for characters separately though, that's a big difference. On turn 2 the units will come on random, so either the opponent will choose, it will come randomly on one side, or you choose where they come. And the objective of the scenario is to get as many units, as many points out or off the table through your opponent's deployment zone. So tournament round 1, I'm facing Ogres, and what we get from the left there, we get an Iron Blaster, we get a kitty, we get 6 bulls, we've got 3 lead belchers and another kitty, and in the back there you can see that he failed deployment, so they will come in turn 2 somewhere randomly. A unit of Iron Guts with a Fire Belly and a Bruiser in it, and a unit of 4 Lead Belcher. For magic spells, he gets Magic Sword and Fireball. The list that I will use through that tournament includes, from the right hand side, 7 Questing Knights, full command, a block of 39 men-at-arms with halberds with a damsel level 2 of beast, a unit of 8 Knight Errants, in there is my BSB, and another paladin, which is acting as my general, as we are not allowed lore choices in that tournament. Next to them is a unit of 3 Pegasus Knights, and behind the Knight Errants you can see on the table edge a Trebuchet. The second Trebuchet did not make it on deployment, as well as the unit of 8 Knights of the Realms. For magic, I get Pan's Impenetrable Pelt and the Ember Spear. The Knights of Bretonnia kneel and pray to the Lady of the Lake. And so the Ogres get the first turn. He advances forward, as you can see on the picture. In the shooting phase, the Ogres Lead Belcher shoot at the Questing Knight, gets 1 hit, 1 wound. The Iron Blaster targets the Knight Errant, with my 2 paladins in there, but misses. I forgot to mention his Fire Belly being out of the table, he has no magic phase. And so Bretonnia turn 1, I move my Knight Errants with the paladins to try to take care of the Iron Blaster, and I move the Peg Knights there to cover them on the side. Hopefully the bulls will be taken care of. I then move forward my Questing Knights, and I move forward the block of men-at-arms. In the magic phase he dispels Pan's Impenetrable Pelt, but I cast then Ember Spear onto the kitty in front of Peg Knights to allow me a easy charge and for him to stop blocking anything and take care of him. The ensuing panic check makes the bulls to flee, which is great. The Iron Blaster, however, succeeds his panic check. In my shooting phase, the Trebuchet hits the Lead Belchers, but rolls a 1 for the Strength 10 hit, and I only cause a wound for the rest. Ogres turn 2, the bulls regroup, which isn't great, but as was expected. The Iron Guts come in from his right hand side, which is a bit too close for comfort. His last unit in reserve, the unit of 4 Lead Belchers, coming from his left hand side, which is nice because they're far away from everything. In the remaining movement phase, he aligns his Iron Blaster to get a nice shot at the Peg Knights. That's gonna hurt. He then shifts his unit of 3 Lead Belchers so they can have a shot on the Peg Knights as well. I guess he doesn't like flying units.
Sir, rebel ships are coming into our sector. Good. Our first catch of the day.
The Iron Blaster gets 2 wounds, and thankful to the lady, I ward them, so I ward save them with the Peg Knights. And then the Lead Belcher, however, do 1 hit and 1 wound. In his magic phase, he cannot attack with the Iron Guts, but still can cast spells out of them, so his Fireball is targeting my Knight Errants. Big 6 dice Fireball, which I do not want to receive, because I need my my lance to be full strength if I plan to survive a couple of rounds against a potential flank charge there. So the plan is to next turn charge the Iron Blaster and then overrun and be outside of his arc, but there's still a risk there. So why do I use the scroll? And that's the end of the magic phase. Bretonnia, turn 2. My Trebuchet comes in on my left hand side and I place it there. The Knight of the Realm come in on the right hand side and I will move them closer this turn. Charge! It's time for the Bretonnians to get into action. I put the Questing Knights into the kitty because I don't want them to be shot by anything at this turn. The Peg Knights do a long charge on his Lead Belcher, and my Knight Errant bus with the 2 characters go into the Iron Blaster. The block of Men-at-Arms and Damsel come forward to support the charging unit. Magic phase is the wash. Before the Questing Knights swing their grey weapons, the kitty gets 1 wound through, but then gets pulverized. The Knight Errants with the 2 Paladins do a quick deal of the Iron Blaster. However, I do not roll high enough to get out of his charging arc from his big bus of Iron Guts there. The Peg Knights score 6 hits, 4 wounds, no save, whereas the Lead Belchers only get 1 wound through, so they fail their combat check and flee and get caught. And this is the end of Bretonnia turn 2 on the table after the overrun. Ogres turn 3, the Iron Guts charge the Knight Errant on the flank, that's gonna hurt. And the unit of 6 bulls charge the Men-at-Arms. In the magic phase, the Fire Belly casts Flaming Sword on the unit of bulls. The resulting miscast causes 2 wounds to the Knight Errants and 4 wounds to the Ogres. In the Ogre shooting phase, the Peg Knights that overrun and caught the Lead Belcher unit get shot by the second Lead Belcher unit that came in my table right hand side and got 1 wound, so there's still 2 models but dwindling fast. And to combat the Men-at-Arms against the bulls. The bulls go to town on the Men-at-Arms and does about 7 wounds on the Men-at-Arms, but I've got more ranks, so I'm steadfast and I stay. The Iron Guts combats with my Knight Errants and my General and BSB doesn't go very well. I declare a challenge with my General, he's got Herring Killing Blow, but we pretty much do nothing. He then proceeds to destroy the whole unit and slips a wound to the BSB. As a result, I failed my moral check, run, and he gets me. Bretonnian turn 3. Having the scenario objectives in my mind, I'm thinking, alright, so I get most of my units middle, center of the board, almost through, and what can he get through? So his 2 kitties are dead. His Iron Blaster is dead. He's got this unit, Lead Belcher left. He's got the Iron Guts and the Bulls. So 3 units. I need to think about the objectives. So what I do is I advance my Questing Knights and my Knight of the Realm on this side of the table, thinking I'm going to take care of that. And I'm fleeing or moving my Peg Knights straight out of the board. So according to the scenario rules, I can get them off the table through his deployment zone, and so I do. My priority here is to stop his unit getting off the table through my deployment phase. So I'm trying to keep the Men-at-Arms in play. I'm buffing the Damsel with Pan Impenetrable Pelt. My leftmost Trebuchet was out of range of the Lead Belcher, so instead he targeted the big block of Iron Guts, get 1 hit, 5 wounds through, which was good, but the second one failed to hit the Lead Belchers. In the combat phase, the Bulls do a lot, but they don't do enough, unfortunately. They do not have enough ranks, and I'm steadfast and I Ogres turn 4. So he's got this Questing Knight there, where he's getting very close to the table. So what he does, he casts Fireball and get six wounds through, which is good. So luckily I passed 3 saves, which is great. That leaves me with a couple of models. He then moves on to his shooting phase, and his lead belcher unleash hell on the questing knights, cause 2 wounds, but I make 2 save. So that's good news for me. Combat phase, the bulls go to town on the men-at-arm, but when they overrun, they do not overrun enough to get off the table. And so on my turn 4, I have already 1 victory points to 0. I see that my questing knights are 15 inches away from the table edge, and I simply march 16 inches for the victory, 2-0, and that's how the game ends. We didn't have enough time, so we agreed that we stopped at the end of turn 4. Based on the rules of the scenario and the tournament, a victory gives me 15 points, and gives him 5 points, and then based on the additional optional secondary objectives, we end up finishing 17-7. So not bad for the first game. One thing to mention, my opponent did not read the scenarios very well, so he wasn't aware he had to make his units go through my table's edge. At the same time, most of his units, or remaining units, were on his table edge, so he wouldn't have been able to get them through, but I guess, yeah, Bretonnia in that sense, and my mobility were advantageous on that scenario. But a good game, a bit overwhelming, first tournament playing against someone I never played against before. He was a young lad, his father was around and playing as well, and they were very friendly, so thank you for the game, and maybe I'll see you around in another tournament.